Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, 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 Jaya Guru Raya. योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगी राम सूरत कुमार योगी राम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। This is one more opportunity for us to thank Bhagwan heartily from the depths, from the recesses of the soul, for this great fortune that he has blessed us with, the chanting of his powerful name for 1 hour. We have offered these Nama lotuses in celebration of his grace at his lotus feet. Today we shall see how Bhagwan's particular teaching is being taught by a story. When we learn profound truths through simple stories, we understand it better and we remember it better and we can apply it better. Here is the story. And before that, what is Bhagwan's teaching that we should remember so often? Bhagwan said that Father in all in Father. Father is inside us, activating our very breath, our every part of the body. So Father, the indweller, Antaryami, it's because of his presence there is breath at all in the body. And because there is breath in the body, every part of the body is functioning well. Our brain is able to function because there is life in the body. Our hands, our legs, our eyes, our ears, everything functions because of the breath in the body, and the breath of this breath is the Chaitanya within, the indweller, the Antaryami. It is he who has put the life in the body. He has put the breath in the body in the first place, and it is he who is sustaining it. If we just sit in one place and say to ourselves, okay, let's breathe, and see whether you are breathing or breathing is going on, and that you simply recognize it. Now we shall see, without this, the presence of this Chaitanya, which we can call grace, there is no life at all. So we have to remember that this Chaitanya, this indweller, God, as often as possible, and that we are only instruments in his hands. Now the story is this. There was a village, and there were two friends from childhood. At one point, one of them was so much in poverty, he could not survive in the village at all. He ran away. He could no more bear the poverty and the humiliation. And after several years, his friend from the village, he's called a Grami, he's from the Grama, the village. He came to hear that the friend who ran away, that he went over to Bombay, and somehow with hard work and determination, he had earned a lot of money, that he was a millionaire now, with many bungalows and cars and all the comforts of life. Now, this rich friend, somehow, because of his earlier humiliations, let the village people know how he has gathered riches and how influential he has become in the society. Now, this friend, Grami, immediately wrote to him to say that he would like to visit him. Now, the rich friend did not have any need at all for this village friend. He is not particularly drawn to this friend at all, but then he thought if this Grami should visit him, he could see how affluent this friend has become, and he would go back to the village and tell people, because he had been humiliated so much in that village in his poverty. So he wanted to be very nice to this Grami so that Grami would carry a nice report of him. So when Grami visited his bungalow in Bombay, to Grami, everything was a wonder. He was absolutely overwhelmed and wonderstruck. It was summer and it was burning hot. So, when he asked for a hand fan to relieve himself from this heat, the rich friend said very impressively, "Oh, why do you want a hand fan? This is no more a village. Here you see, I'm a Shaktiman. I'm capable of all the comforts that I can give you. Just see." And then he went and switched it on. There was a switch there in the room and a fan. He went and switched it on and the fan began to roll. Now, Grami was absolutely taken aback. What is this? There is such a wind blower. And he looked up. He was wonderstruck. And then he said, "How is this possible?" "Oh, I can do anything. You see, I got these things. I just have to switch it on and then it would start distributing air." Now Grami began to appreciate his friend. And similarly, when he wanted to read something, he wanted to do some work for which he needed some light in the night, he approached his rich friend, "Please give me some light and I would like to work." It was the first day, so everything was new to him. Immediately his rich friend said, "Why do you want this mud lamp or the glass lamp? Now you see the magic now." Then he went and switched. He touched a switch and then the light came bright. The light was everywhere and so bright. And once again, Grami was overwhelmed. He felt his friend was a magician, that he had the power to give so much light everywhere. Now likewise, there were so many gadgets in the house, and every one of them the rich friend used to impress upon this Grami, the villager, how influential, how powerful, how rich he was. And then a day came when there was no light and the fan would not rotate and none of the gadgets in the house worked. Now Grami asked his rich friend, "Why is that? You go switch it on." But then, in spite of switching it on, there was no current in the house, so none of the gadgets worked. Now Grami was taken aback once again. He said to his friend, Why are they not working? You are Shaktiman. You are very powerful. Please make it work." Now the rich friend With hung head, he said, "No, I can't do a thing now. The current is not there. There is no electricity, so none of this would work." Now Brahmi said, "You said you are very powerful and that you could just put a switch on, the current came, and there was light, there was air, there was heat, everything." But the rich man said, "No, I have no control over this electricity." And that's when Grami understood that it was that electricity, the current, that was in truth powerful and not this rich man. He just had the knowledge of it and used it, but it was mainly the current behind it all. Now, this is a story from Swami Shivananda to accentuate the point. The indweller inside us, God, who has created this body in the first place and put life in it, and because of which we are able to function in our life. But then what do we say? That I am doing, I am talking, I am thinking, I can do this, I can do that. We boast and we bloat with pride. We say that I have achieved it with hard work. I have achieved it with my brain. But in truth, if there is no indweller, if there is no Chaitanya within, there will be no breath inside. If there is no breath, this body, which has been functioning all life, would be taken to the graveyard, be buried, and hastily at that, because the body would start disintegrating soon, and there would be a stink. Either that or the body would be burnt. It's only as long as the indweller is there, the Antaryami, the Chaitanya, there will be life in the body, and the body would be functioning, your brain would be functioning, and you would be able to run your life at all. So all that credit goes to the indweller who has created your body. When he has created your body, we all know we have done nothing to create this body, and yet we call it our body, my body. What did I do to call it my body? And we know we have not put the breath inside, and yet we say it is my life. We simply own it up. And because we own up this body, we own up our thoughts, we own up our words and actions, and then we have to face the consequences. And that's how the karma begins to work. I am thinking. So my thinking is my karma. I am talking. So if I speak ill of somebody, then it is my bad karma. If I speak the praises, then it becomes good karma, and I have to face the consequences of both. Because not a single word goes waste, be it a praise or abuse. And then similarly, we do something with the body and then we say, I am doing. But then the true credit goes to the indweller who is sustaining your breath every second. And I am owning up the action, and therefore I have to face the consequences. If I do a bad action, it becomes a bad karma. If I do a good action, then it becomes good karma. And the whole life I have to keep praying for both. When there is a good karma playing up, I have to suffer the agony which I gave to someone. The good karma plays up, then it's all comfort and success and the fame and name and all that. So, as long as you own it up, You own up the body, you own up your life, you own up your actions, words and thoughts. You will have to face your good karmas and bad karmas all the time. Your next life, your next birth would be based upon this foundation. But just as the rich man in the story had to say finally that it was not his power that worked, it was the power of the electricity that created that magic of air and light and other things. We have to admit that it is the divine inside, and then he is the only doer, he is the only karta. So instead of owning up my thoughts and words and actions, if I say my thoughts, words and actions have come from him, he is the doer, I am but an instrument in his hands, then I don't have to face the consequences of my karmas, because the karma will become dharma. Why? Because I give the credit where it is due, the divine. So the divine will swallow all your karmas, and then you will be free from them. So let us remember that owning up anything, your thoughts, words and actions, is toxifying your body. You want to detox it, you give the credit to the indweller. You say it's he all through. I am but an instrument in his hands. Be it a good karma or bad karma, it's he. It's his responsibility. Just hand it over to him and think that you are only a robot or a doll, a puppet in the hands of the divine puppeteer. And you see how your thinking changes, because now you have connected to a very high power, the highest power which created the whole cosmos, which is sustaining the whole cosmos, which will one day withdraw the whole cosmos into itself. So Bhagavan said, it's Father in all, the divine in all. And in truth, it is not he who is inside us. The truth is that we are inside him, because he is that huge, pure consciousness which has become every creature in the cosmos. So the whole creation is in the Creator. It is not that the Creator is in the creation. It's because we identify ourselves with the body, we are aware of only our body, we say that God is inside me. But in truth, I am inside that huge presence. We shall now offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagavan by begging for his immediate divine intervention to bring forth a dharmic normalcy to today's world, which is full of violence. Bhagavan, we beg you again and again and again to change the ways of the world and bring in peace, harmony, order, friendship and brotherhood, mutual understanding and help. And the war is already going on. We beg you to stop the war and let there be peace. Bhagavan, we also beg you to have control over all those diseases that attack us often, all of a sudden, those killer diseases. And then there is violence of nature also. We beg you to control them for our sake. We also beg you to destroy all the asuric thoughts inside our mind, which are responsible for today's world. We beg you again to reach out to those people who have been stranded in varied parts of the world for some reason or the other due to their past karma, and they are agonized without any help or protection. We beg you to do the needful, and we also beg you to protect all those good people, unselfish people who have been slogging for the welfare of others from unhealthy criticisms and aspersion. We beg you, Bhagavan, to promote the economy of the country and the growth in varied fields of activity, and reach out that high status of the world teacher to conduct the whole world in the path of dharma. Bhagavan, we also beg you, in all intensity, sincerity, earnestness, for ceaseless chanting of your powerful name and unbroken remembrance of your leelas and teachings, so that we assimilate and make it into Atma Shakti. We beg you again to bless us all to be sattvic instruments in your hands and not rakshasic instruments. We beg you again to bless us to run our everyday life as an offering to you. It is God-given and it belongs to God only. Bhagavan, we also beg you to bless us so that we be not caught by the temptations of Maya. The Maya is such that even places of worship are like the musicals in the bazaar. So now we beg you again to give us freedom from all this and bless us with your silence, that deep, blissful silence and peace. But then we need to be purified. We have to purify our mind from this fear, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madamascharya, as we call it. And the nama, your powerful nama, is a great weapon to destroy them. We beg you to bless us for happy, ananda, chanting of your powerful name. And we also beg you, we take refuge in your seva also wherever we are in this world, whatever work falls into our hand. If we do it in the bhava that this work is yours and that we are only doing seva to you, and that joyfully, without any unhealthy competition or jealousy, all this would go into Atma Shakti. And we beg you also to bless us to practice acceptance of sorrow or joy as they come. They come from you, the source, and whatever comes from you can only be a blessing, and it's a blessing in disguise meant for our spiritual growth. But for suffering, none of us would ever turn to God. We beg you to bless us to be able to detect your living, vibrant presence everywhere and everything. And we also beg you to bless us to be able to see your sankalpa, your will behind all the happenings of life. And Bhagavan, we should also be able to detect that hidden grace of yours even in the most ruinous, devastating experiences of life. When a bad karma suddenly begins to attack us, everything misfires. Every word you utter, even in innocence, would be misinterpreted, and out of all proportion, the punishment would follow. Everybody's experiences that, and that we begin to blame God for His mercilessness, and we would blame every other person for our own failures, little realizing that it's we who invited it by our bad karma. Please bless us to be grateful to you even for the adversities of life. And Bhagavan, we seek your blessings for all the species of the cosmos so that they be lifted to a higher plane. And finally, we want to be free from this vicious cycle of births and deaths, for which we have to be free from the tyranny of ego. Please bless us with that immortal life, that eternal living, and eternal servitude to you, that eternal supreme Brahman. Jai Yogi Ram Siddhartha.